are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to get the leave of this minister and the prophet.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to get the leave.
Our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to get the leave of this minister and the prophet.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability.
Borders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues party system enacted to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Well, today on Open Conversation, we'll take a look at Edo Guba Tribunal, a PDP, and on politics. This only a national convention can remove me, says Ayao. Still on politics, stop honoring politicians with awards, says Afe Babalola. Remember, we are open for adverts, placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll introduce a guest and delve right into the stories. Do stay with us.
To condemn this act, I propose to get the leave of this minister and the prophet.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical release of this minister and the president.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical release of this minister and the president.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come?
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Open Conversation right here on Atlantic Television Network. And joining us today on Open Conversation is George Azunda Chinda. He's a political analyst. Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation today.
Good morning.
It's good to see you once again. How are you doing?
Very well, I'm fine, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's delve into our stories for today. Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has found a hearing of the petition on Tuesday counsel to the PDP and Igbodalu. Mr. Adetunji Oyeipo, SAN, told the tribunal that most of the proposed witnesses suffered travel disruptions. My lord, these witnesses may be convenient for the tribunal. We will also work assiduously to prime down our witnesses. He pleaded shortly after the witnesses that was testifying before the tribunal relocated its sitting from Edo State to Abuja was discharged. Dissatisfied with the development, Justice Wilfred Pochi-led three-member tribunal frowned at the petitioners for wasting the judicial time of the tribunal. According to the tribunal, it had earlier asked other parties that also lodged petition to challenge them. Why then did we ask the other petitioners to take dates? We should have them take justice and ask all your witnesses. Tell them to come. We are ready for them to come today. However, counsel to the petitioners pleaded that the witnesses may not be in the right frame of mind to mount the dock after the travel difficulties and appeal that they should be given a new date, a request the tribunal granted and adjourned the case till Thursday, January 30, 2025. Meanwhile, the witness that was discharged, Mr. Oseyili Aneni, told the tribunal that though there were a total of 4,519 polling units in Edo State, the PDP and its candidates are challenging results from about 765 polling units. Wow, quite interesting. I mean, the PDP are challenging the result of the Edo State governorship election in court, but then they failed to provide their witnesses, which reasons being that they have been stuck, they can't find a way. They have not been in the city as of the time of the court proceedings. I'd like to get your thoughts on this, Asunda.
Okay, like the judge just said, is wasting judicial time. I think it's a deliberate act by the PDP not to have come with those witnesses.
Okay.
Because they were given date earlier before now. They were given date before this period, so they should have prepared their witnesses, to be part of the court proceedings on that day. But for obvious reasons, it appears that they were not able to get the required numbers. They have not been able to get all the people they wanted as witnesses. So what they did was to waste judicial time by telling the judges that due to travel, this and that, they had to hinge it on something. You understand?
All right.
Of course, the judge will not, go ahead to deliver judgment without hearing from witnesses, which will also aid them to do their job. So even though he found out what happened by saying that it's wasting judicial time, he went further to grant them another time, which is like you know, we have given you time to prepare yourself, and if they feel the next time, the judge may decide to take a decision whether for or against. So it's really an appalling situation for the People's Democratic Party in Edo State that wants to, you know, prove that the election was won by their candidate.
All right.
And you that is coming to, you that is the petitioner, asking the court to, you know, upturn the judgment, the pronouncement of INEC that made Ighodalo the governor of the state, is not even prepared to prove your case. They should have had all these things put in place even before the date. They should be ready, because they are coming, they are upbeat that the governor of the state, you know, from the APC, did not win the election. So by now, one would have believed that they had all their evidences in place. They have their witnesses in place, you know, to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. But unfortunately, one of the tests they failed. Let's give them the benefit of doubt that by the next sitting they were able to
produce the witnesses.
You know, they would have the witnesses.
No, I would like to understand where you said they would have shopped.
I think maybe the shopping is still ongoing. That was the reason why
so
they.
You're saying they are shopping witnesses or something? Do you mean they are shopping witnesses for the tribunal?
What I actually mean by that is, you know, the election itself is not something that is done in one unit. You have thousands of units across the entire state. We are talking about the governorship election, so you require a sizable number of persons, you know, to be able to man, depending on the number of polling booths they are contesting, which for me is over 200 or more, you understand? So to get that number of persons is not something, it's just, you know, at the snap of the finger. That's why I use the word shopping. They are still trying to gather their witnesses.
All right, let me borrow your words from you. Do you think that the PDP at this point in time would be able to shop this, just like you say, to shop these witnesses for the case?
There are willing to everywhere. All they need to do, people will be willing to come out to testify. But unfortunately, they have to know what is the truth and what is the lie. The lawyers of the APC candidates will cross-examine these people, you know, to know whether they are saying the truth or not.
Okay.
So the court will also be there to know which is, you know, right evidence and all of that. So, but for me, to shop people in Nigeria to do anything is never a difficult thing, because the willing to are there. All they need to do is, you know, raise the money, and people will be willing to do even what, you know, was not even expected of them, just to, you know, retire the money that will be paid to them and all of us.
All right. Well, we're not trying to, you know, empty the court. We're not trying to, you know, just for clarity's sake, you know, for the purpose of our viewers to know. Well, do you see any possibilities of the PDP coming out successful as regards to the gubernatorial, you know?
I'll be frank with you here. Like you said, we are not here to preempt the courts. We don't even know about the things that happened before, during, and after the election. It's obvious that the APC won the election in the district.
All right.
You know, the immediate past governor, Godwin Obaseki, had so many battles with different, you know, power brokers in the state. You understand? So that also counted against his candidate, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Even down to the eve of the election, we still had people moving from the PDP to join, you know, the other parties. So for me, given the history of election tribunal in Nigeria, I will be optimistic here to say that it will be difficult.
Okay.
It will be difficult for the PDP to skate through. Well, they will try their best, so I don't see them reclaiming that mandate.
All right. Well, let's take a look at Ogun State now. Ogun State has any attempt to establish a Sharia court in the state. The state government, in a statement signed by government on Sharia courts cannot be legally constituted by individuals or groups without legal backing. The government was reacting to a notice announcing the launch of a Sharia court in the state. According to the statement, Ogun State only recognizes courts established through the legal framework of the Nigerian Constitution, adding that a Sharia court does not form part of the legal framework operating in the state. The statements read, The Ogun State government has noted the circulation of a digital notice announcing the launch of a Sharia court in Ogun State. No Sharia court is authorized to operate within Ogun State. The courts that are legally empowered to adjudicate disputes arising within Ogun State are those established by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria or by state laws, which are Magistrates Courts, High Court, Customary Court of Appeal, Federal High Court, National Industrial Court, Supreme Court. No law operates has established the Sharia court, and Sharia law does not form part of the legal framework by which the Ogun State government administers and governs society. The Ogun State government upholds and protects the rights of individuals to practice the religion of their choice or to subscribe to no religion, and recognizes the freedom of individuals to apply their faith in their personal and private matters. However, this freedom does not extend to the formation of unauthorized assemblies or institutions. No individual or group is legally permitted to constitute a court or present themselves to the public as a court without legal backing. Those behind that notice have no legal backing. They cannot set up a court or administer justice by fiat or public notice. The state government directed that all persons involved in the creation or operation of the unauthorized court must implement activities and disband the illegal entity and all its apparatus. The Ogun State government the public to disregard any summons, documents or persons associated with the illegal Sharia court. Such occurrences should be promptly reported to the state. The Ogun State government will uphold the rule of law, ensure respect for the legal and judicial framework within the state, and prevent a breakdown of law and order. It's concluded. Well, Gina, this is the issue of having Sharia court in Ogun State. I mean, I saw this story a few days ago where they said Sharia court is now in Ogun State, and I'm wondering, we have the court that has the legal backing of the Nigerian framework, and then we're now having the Sharia courts that at some points, just like the governor rightly said, that do not have the legal backing or legal framework, you know, and it's been instituted in Ogun State. I mean, that calls for controversies online. I would like to get your thoughts as regards to this as well. The establishment of such courts in Ogun State. Let me get your take on that.
Okay, first thing first, let me coming out at this point to, you know, inform the general public that this thing that is being peddled is illegal and has no place in Ogun State.
All right.
So, I mean, that would have gone a long way to at least make the people to understand the position of things. Secondly, I would say that the government should not just leave it at that. You know, the peddlers of that false information, because that, you know, has the potential of causing some kind of disruption in the state.
All right.
You know, the courts is a creation of the constitution, you know, through the judiciary, which is the one arm of the government. And whatever decision that is taken in the court is binding until another higher court, you know, upturns it. So the life and death of citizens, the court is holding it. You do not have the legal backing to go create a court that is not recognized by the Constitution of the Federal Republic, you know, to be established in Edo State and all of that. So those who are doing that for their selfish gain and should not be allowed to roam the street, because that has the potential to cause some kind of damage in Edo State. Right. So first thing first, I want to, you know, join hands with others to commend the governor for, you know, being reactionary. I would say it's also good that he responded on time, you know, to do not have the legal backing to create a court. He should go further to arrest them. Because, you know, they are trying to cause some kind of problem. It was not recognized by the Constitution or the laws of the Assembly of Ogun State. So individuals who probably are religious extremists or whatever decided to come up with that. So I'm happy that the man, you know, tried to nip it on the bud before it escalates. He should go further to arrest them.
All right. Talking about, you rightly mentioned that, you know, they didn't seek the government's approval before even bringing such, you know, decision, before making such decision in Ogun State. But then, what do you think that the government needs to do as regards this? Because you said they need to be arrested, right? That's one thing. But then, do you think there are other things that the government needs to do at this point in time to caution this? Because we might have occurrence of any of this happening again, aside from the Sharia courts being instituted.
The government should not just leave it at making mere statement. They should put, you know, a kind of, should I say, law enforcement
to monitor, right?
Like task force.
Okay.
Like task force that will go around to ensure that there is no place that they have illegal court that is not permitted by the constitution or by the laws of Ogun State. Because before these people may have come to say this, they may have started to put this, you know, operationally in place, you know, trying to set up one or two. And you know how gullible some people could be, you know, in such a court that does not have the backing, the constitutional backing, surrender their powers to, you know, it did not do anything to nip it in the bud. That will escalate, and it has the potential to cause damages. So, coming to your question, the government should not just leave it at the mere, you know, official announcement to the public. They should set up a task force.
People.
Yes, they should set up a task force that will go around the state to ensure that, you know, there is no process leading to creation of, you know, Sharia court in any part of the state. And if in the course of going around, anybody that is seen, you know, practicing not backed by the law should be arrested immediately and, you know, taken behind bars. So that is what the government needs to do. They should not just sit back. They should set up a task force. They should also, not just a task force that is known, they should set up a committee that may not be known, that will be going around to report any incident of anywhere, you know, where the court, Sharia court, that is not permitted to operate in Ogun State is sitting, you know, to deliver judgment on innocent people. Once they get that, they should do the needful.
All right, so let's take a look, an in-depth look into the reason why this is being instituted in the first place, why this comes in the first place. What do you think might have been the reason why they had to bring the Sharia courts to Ogun State? Because initially we do not have this, and there must have been something that prompted this to come to happen in Ogun State.
That those who are perpetrating this are Muslims, who feel that, you know, the only law that they should operate under should not be Muslim, be you a Christian, be you a traditional worshipper, be you an atheist, provided you live and operate within the Nigerian law. The constitution is what Bantu may want to test. So he should just break down heavily on them, except, you know, he actually feels that they have the legal backing to operate. But from his statements here, it's obvious that, you know, there's no such legal backing for Sharia court to operate. Therefore, I'm insisting, you know, calling on him to use the instrumentality of force that the government has to ensure that, you know, this thing is completely wiped out before it becomes, you know, a sore.
All right, do you also think, before we go to the next story quickly, do you also think that this establishment, those who are behind the establishment of the Sharia courts, might at some point or could seek for legal backing, legal framework backing?
Impossibility is nothing.
We do not know what exactly.
Yeah, impossibility is nothing. If it's, you know, gets the legal backing to operate, then I don't have any challenge with that. But right now, as it is, as at now, as at tomorrow, which is, you know, Thursday, there is no such legal backing the Sharia court to operate. Yes. So therefore, it is an illegal activity. If the letter seek for legal framework to exist and it is granted, who am I to say they should not operate? You know, it's a country where everybody should come and operate, but operate within the, you know, legal guidelines to ensure sanity in the society.
All right, then. Let's move on to Zamfara State now. The Zamfara State House of Assembly has declared the seat of one of its members, Aliyu Kagara, vacant. This was contained in a statement by the Assembly's Chief Press Secretary, Bello Kuria, and made available to newsmen on Tuesday in Gusau, the state capital. According to the statement, Kagara's seat was declared vacant because he had been absent from the House for an extended period, attending only 21 out of 180 sitting days. It said the decision was made in line with Sections 101 and 109 subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. The statement partly read, The Zamfara State House of Assembly has declared the seat of Honorable Aliyu Ango Kagara, the member representing Talata Mafara South constituency, vacant. This decision followed a motion presented by the majority leader, Honorable Bello Muhammad Maza Waje Safi, and seconded by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Adamu Aliyu Gumi, during a plenary session. While presenting the motion, Honorable Bello Mazawaji noted that Honorable Aliyu Ango Kagara had been absent from the House for an extended period, attending only 21 out of 180 sitting days. This he explained as a violation of the Nigerian Constitution and the standing rules of the House, which mandates consistent participation in legislative activities. Well, here is Zamfara State declaring assembly seats vacant due to the fact that Kagara, one of the House members, fails to attend, plenary session that he's supposed to attend for 180 days, but he only attended for 20.
Leader of the House, that's failure to attend sittings up to a certain number will affect your place in the House. If for any reason, maybe he's sick, or maybe for whatever reason something made him not to be present, he should have written to the House leadership, telling them why he'll be away for a while, you understand, which is quite understandable. From my understanding, he did not do any of such. You just stayed away. People elected you to represent them. Issues concerning your constituencies and the states. Right. We are from time to time discussed in the House. Laws were made and things like that. And there was no input from him, either by saying aye or no,
Right.
Either by saying aye or nay. He was not even available, and decisions were reached, on behalf of his constituencies. So, for me, I do not have any pity for him. I do not want to be declared vacant in the court. If God helps him, he wins, he can come back. But the decision has been taken and the gavel has been hit. So he should do the needful, vacate the seat, go to court, or call it quits for a new election, by-election to be done in his constituencies. As simple as it.
All right, well, do you also think that this would also serve as a deterrent to other lawmakers who might have been nonchalant just like this?
Obviously.
Whether you like it or not, there would be other lawmakers who would also be breaking such laws such as this. Well, do you think this would serve as a deterrent?
Like I said, obviously it will serve not just for House of Assembly members, even for Senate and House of Rep. That is the bicameral legislature at a higher level. The lawmakers are all aware of this, even for those who are not well lettered, that found themselves there because of political patronage, must have been told. It is just normal, even aside that, even in our normal family meetings and everything, to others, because if this had not happened before, people definitely will never have taken it seriously. Now that the House of Assembly and Zamfara State have come to say, we are invoking the law. We are not the ones that this law was made and given to us, and we have been abiding by these laws. So for you to have breached this law, you have to pay the penalty. So that will serve as deterrent to serious-minded, legislators. But unfortunately, you still have some persons who will fall victim to this, maybe ignorantly or deliberately, thinking that nothing will happen, or because they have the powers, to wriggle themselves out of some of the challenge. Maybe Kagara does not have the power, or because he's a minority leader and the majority party in the state, which is, I think, PDP or so, have decided to use him as a scapegoat. So it may not be applicable in other places based on, because every politics is local. He may have had some challenges in the state, but what they did was to hinge their hand on what is the law to say that out of so number of days, you've not been able to attend so number of, therefore it calls for vacation of your seat.
All right, well, just for clarity's sake, do you think that if Kagara decides now to challenge this in court, do you think there's any possibility of him emerging successfully? I
will not be able to say anything here regarding that, because that will be like preempting the court. Right. The court has a way of, they are the arbiters. They have their rules and regulations guiding their operations. So the way I may be saying it may not be the same way, the court will see it. There may be reason. We don't even know if he has written a letter, which is like a caveat. Please, I will not be available for this and that. So those things could be, where the court, will hold hand to save him, or except there's nothing like that. So since we are not aware of such positions, so it will not be proper for we to preempt the court. But for me, I believe that he should approach the court for clarification of the matter. Let the court look into the matter and see if actually they have, because it may be witch hunt. He's a minority leader. There could be one or two, because 2027 politics is shaping up. So one way or the other to cut down on the influence of this and is to begin to carry out some kind of. So let him approach the court. Let the court decide based on the available evidence before them. So the court will do justice to the matter.
All right, then let's take a look at APC. All Progressives Congress APC has described, as Peter said, the opposition People's Democratic Party PDP is currently disintegrating and sinking into oblivion due to the political desperation and excesses of Atiku, PDP's serial presidential contender. APC, in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja, said, like a badly broken record, Atiku has continued to point fingers at it for the festering rot in his party and the spectacular dysfunction of opposition parties generally. The ruling party also dismissed allegations by Atiku that it was paying the sum of 50 million naira to some opposition leaders in order to weaken the opposition. The bizarre suggestion by opposition figures like Atiku, Peter Obi, and recently aggrieved leaders like Malam Nasir El-Rufai that our great spokesman Felix Moka at the National Conference on Strengthening Democracy in Nigeria held in Abuja on Monday. Atiku had reportedly warned that Atiku era as vice president, particularly in 2003 and 2007, that the PDP conducted the history. We cannot possibly forget how Atiku's PDP heavy-handedly captured most Southwest states and vowed to remain in power for 60 years. And it was in those same years that Atiku's former boss and then President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, infamously described election as a do-or-die affair in a desperate attempt to annex Lagos. Beautiful, attacking APC. I'd like to get your point on this.
Let me say this. We are approaching the 2027 general election.
All right.
And one of the jobs of the opposition parties is to criticize the ruling party so that they can gain traction with the electorate. People will definitely say things with every given opportunity. Of course, we know that the APC federal government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not solved the problems of Nigeria. They have not done all what they are supposed to do to ensure that we are lifted out of the doldrums.
Okay.
We are still, having challenges in all sectors. The man is actually working his best to see that Nigeria gets better. It is not yet gloomy. Things are still moving the way they are moving. Gradually, we are, making some appreciable progress and all of that. So what you see playing out is a normal thing in politics, where people have the right to criticize and also people have the right to reply.
Right.
Atiku, Obi, and Nasir El-Rufai have criticized the ruling government, and the ruling government, the party itself, has also written to reply them and all of that. So accusing Tinubu of paying 50 million naira to opposition leaders
no, that is stabilize their
party is neither here nor here. But like I said, these things are permissible in Nigerian politics for people, to say certain things, all geared towards, getting the electorate to your side and all of that. So it's nothing really. It's nothing. It's just accusation and counter-accusation from political leaders. This is not new to us. We are all aware of all these moves and all of that. And like I said, the Nigeria of today is not where we should be. You understand? But we cannot completely blame Tinubu for a government that he took over in less than 2 years. The rot did not just start now. So he will do his best to repair the system. We don't expect him to finish getting Nigeria to, another rather state.
Okay.
It's a gradual thing. So what you see playing out is normal towards 2027. It will be more in the coming days, in the coming months, more of this in a more ferocious manner will hit the media airwaves.
All right.
Because people will begin to say things that we, give their supporters hope that we are on course and all of that. So for me, I think they have been docile for a while. Yeah, the opposition parties have been docile for a while. And if you look at the opposition parties, they are not actually, pulling their strings like opposition. Yes, there's division among them, but I doubt Tinubu is the one paying. What is 50 million naira for people to destabilize a political party? I mean, they are not talking to people who are paperweight. For you to have what it takes to destabilize a political party, you must be a political heavyweight. So what is 50 million naira for such people who already had such kind of money? If, assuming the president, is paying them to destabilize a party, wouldn't they take something that is so huge? So huge, because it's a risky game. You might be in the course of doing that, your life might go in for it. So why should you, as a big politician that knows your onion and that has the capacity to destabilize your party, accept 50 million naira as something to go fight such kind of a war? I mean, would you do it alone? Wouldn't they be doing it with other allies in the party? So from the 50 million naira, if they share it, how much will be remaining for him as the leader of the group that is collected? So that thing is just neither here nor here. The statement by Atiku. But like I said, it is permissible. All this is just to heat up the polity. The media will have something to say, and their support base will keep increasing.
Do you think just slamming Atiku for his alleged claims of the 50 million naira being paid by the presidency to other political parties is the right move to do? Don't you think this is supposed to be challenged? The claims are supposed to be challenged in courts in order to prove the innocence of that.
So sometimes going to court will just be a waste of time for you and also distractions. You're going to court, it's not for free. You pay your lawyer. By the time you go to, sometimes you weigh these things in the scale. Before you pay your lawyer, go through the processes and everything, you would have spent more than what you are even accused of spending, earlier before now. So what do you get in return from that? Maybe nothing. You just want to answer that, okay, for defamation, I've been able to clear my name, that nothing like that. So look at the processes. These things are permissible within the politics. Atiku couldn't have said that about just any other person, if not for President Tinubu. He knows that within the politics, these things are permissible, so he will say it. Going to court, it will be a waste of time and resources for people. So no need, but it's obvious, the reply they have given to him is okay. You don't need to go to court to prove anything. They have replied him. And he also will definitely come up with another thing. There will be reply and counter reply. And this will continue till after 2027 election. So we are entering the season. You as the media person, be prepared. Brace yourself, because you have your hand full on what to report. Well, then the dent is already there. The dent is already there. Don't you think, because going challenging this accusation or this alleged claims in the courts might help in one way to get them out of this? What do you intend to get out of it? That's the question. At the end of the day, if the court proves that no such thing happened, you begin to lay claim to pay you 2 billion naira for defamation. I mean, your integrity is at stake at the moment. The integrity, the APC's integrity is at stake at the moment. See, well, like I just said, I have been old enough in the system, the political system, to understand that this is what plays out. If that accusation was not done to Tinubu or the APC political party, maybe it was done to one individual who is not holding public position and public money and trust for the public, maybe the person will say, for me to clear my name, I need to go to court. But these things are permissible within the system. It is one high-profile political party member to another high-profile political party member, or this party against the other party, or this person against the president, a public office holder. So people will definitely say, the people have said far worse things than this. What is 50 million to destabilize a political party? People have accused people of far worse things than what we are saying. So for me, if I'm talking about my own opinion, I don't see any need for Tinubu or the APC to go to court to have their name cleared. For what? The onus lies on him who alleges to prove. Atiku has alleged that Tinubu is paying 50 million naira to opposition leaders to destabilize the party. He should prove it. Why should Tinubu be the one to prove it? What for? I don't know if you understand. I accuse you of stealing. I do not have any evidence of you stealing. I just threw mere word on the street, and people are happy on it. It is for you that alleges that this person is a thief to prove that actually is a thief with an incontrovertible evidence. When you cannot prove it, it is not the person that was accused to be running up and down to clear his or her name to prove it that he did not steal. That is just the point I'm trying to make here.
Okay, so Peter Obi as well and Nasir El-Rufai have also criticized this very particular government, the administration here, with several, forms of, what is actually going on right here in the country. What would you make of that as well?
Like I said earlier, we have entered the season for this to happen. But again, it is some of the criticisms are not actually out of place. Like I said earlier, we are not where we should be as a nation.
Okay.
Things are a bit tough. Tinubu only inherited some of these challenges. Some he caused as a leader. Yes, the rot is not today.
Okay.
You cannot. The Nigerian rot did not just happen in 2 years. The rot in Nigeria did not just happen in 2 years, obviously. No, this is not a case of trying to defend someone. I am telling you that even during the Jonathan's time, there were challenges here and there. During the Buhari time, there were challenges. Tinubu has come. The major problem I think that he is doing, the major challenge that is affecting the ordinary Nigerian people is the subsidy removal, which to an extent on the other side is also has an advantage. On the other side is affecting, but by the time the market forces, begin to take shape, where the prices of petrol will drop to a level where people can afford it, then I see that he would have achieved. But the man is taking so many big steps. Tinubu is taking some steps to repositioning Nigeria. That is not what we are here to discuss for today. But what I'm telling you is that no government is immune from criticism. So Peter Obi and Nasir El-Rufai are coming to criticize. It is their right to criticize. They may have been right in criticizing what they are criticizing. It is normal. The government will also reply that this is what we are doing, to shape this and that. It's a continuous thing. I'm not against the criticism from these high-profile Nigerians. They may have information that I do not have.
Okay.
You understand, which is also the reason for their criticism. It's welcomed, and every government, that wants to do well will need to listen to critics.
All right.
To know where they are not getting it right, and with a view to improving what they are doing. So you must not dismiss, criticism. It's part of politics. It's part of what we do, not just here in Nigeria, all over the world, even in America. Before the election, even just few days after, Trump took over the reins of government as POTUS. Criticisms have started trailing some of his actions. So it is for you to sit back with your team, review the criticism, and look at areas where you think you are not doing well, where you should improve and work on it. So their criticism is welcome. So I do not have any problem with that.
Okay, well, the APCs as well, they're also vying come 2027 for the presidential position, right? But then, what do you think? Do you think that it's right for them to use this criticism, to work on it so Nigerians could see and give Nigerians the reason to vote for them come 2027, using the criticism by the Atiku, the Obi, El-Rufai, and all of that?
I just said something earlier here that every political party, every leader that wants to succeed should come down from high heaven and listen to what the ordinary people are saying.
Okay.
So if people are criticizing high-profile Nigerians who have access to some kind of information, are criticizing the government on some areas, they should not just dismiss it as one of those opposition, doings, that can be taken care of. They should sit back and review the areas, because these men are not just ordinary Nigerians. They come and sometimes they come up with something that is actually real.
Right.
And it is for them to sit back, review it, and work on it to see how that can improve the lives of the ordinary Nigerian people. To be frank, Nigeria is going to that level where it will come to, for anybody to win an election, you must be able to convince the electorates on how you can tackle some of those problems. It's a gradual thing. The awareness level is growing. I believe with time we'll get there. So APC understand that one of the ways, to return to power, in 2027 at the federal level is to perform now.
Okay.
Is to perform now. And I must tell you that Buhari's government is making some drastic move, towards that. Then, yeah. But if you look at the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, what he's achieving there, he just won an award. If you did, that was 2 days ago. Yeah, but
I think you meant to say the Tinubu's government.
No. Yes, in Tinubu's government, as the FCT minister, Wike won an award of this day on Arise TV. They gave him an award as the best performing minister. It is not an award that was bought. It is an award that everybody knows. If for those who live in Abuja, now what am I trying to say? Every politics is local. He's working for the federal government of Nigeria under Tinubu, and he's delivering the goods in Abuja. So what that means is that Abuja residents can easily vote for the government at the center because they have seen the dividend of democracy. They are seeing it. I don't know if you understand. So if all the other ministers are equally doing their bits in different areas that will touch Nigerians' life, look at the areas of oil subsidy removal and things like that. How petrol can come down from the current 1,015 naira, 1,025 naira to maybe around 500 or 300, as the case may be. That will affect positively the life of Nigerians. And if that happens, what that means, somebody can say, okay, for this man to have done this, that means he has our heart, he's doing well for us, therefore let's give him another vote. I don't know if you understand. For Abuja, for them. So other areas, they need to look into other areas to ensure if the economy can be stabilized to a level where that people will want to vote for him. So again, it does not just end with the ruling party. The opposition party must be able to practically, not just by mere words, to see how they can do things differently to better the lives of Nigeria, to be able to garner votes. If you don't do that also, you don't expect votes.
All right. All right, now you're watching Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. We'll go on a short break. When we return, Open Conversation continues.
To condemn this act, I thought that critical beliefs of this minister and the
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought that critical beliefs of this minister and the
Give us access to our money we put in charge.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards.
of this minister and the
Give us access to our money we put in charge.
I've always said there are two sets of people.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network, and joining us today on Open Conversation is George Azunda Amadi. He's a political analyst. Well, we'll take a look at PDP. The National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, has declared that he was elected at a national convention action with stakeholders of the party from the zone. According to him, in 2023, I wanted to contest for the governorship of my state, and I wrote the party that I will be away for 3 months, and I asked my deputy to hold forth until my return. Unknown to me, the former Southeast Zonal Vice Chairman, Ali Odefa, was plotting to remove me from office. He deceived the only governor we have in the Southeast, Peter Amba, to say I have to be removed. Well, Anyanwu is here, this is the embattled crisis that has been going on in PDP as regards the national secretary between Sam Anyanwu and Ude Okoye. And now Anyanwu is saying that he was appointed at a national convention. Then if he has to be out of it, it has to be through a national convention. Let me get your take on this.
Okay, I am not conversant with the laws of the PDP on how a national secretary can be removed from office.
All right.
What I am particular about is that he wrote to the party that he'll be going away for 3 months to try to seek for election of his people into the party to contest for the governorship of the state. Unfortunately, he did not make it. He came back to assume his position. Unknown to him that 1 or 2 persons were plotting his removal, where Udo Okoye was put forth by the caucus of the Southeast to replace Sam Anyanwu. So the matter is subject to it has been a subject of litigation. Udokoye got judgment, and just recently Sam Mayan got a stay of execution of that judgment, which also makes him to be serving. So for him to have said that it's only the convention that where he can be removed, probably, I'm not too certain. He may be, talking about the laws of the party that guides the operations of the parties on day to day. So for me, initially before now, I was thinking he never wrote, a resignation letter or a letter, to allowing them to stand down for a while, after which he come back, to assume his position. I was thinking he never, wrote any of such letter. But for him to have come out to say he wrote, probably has an evidence, because it is his word against the other. He has an evidence to show that he actually wrote to the party. But this is politics, where nothing is straight. While you are there, people may be plotting to unseat you and all of that. So the matter is already in court. I strongly believe in Nigerian judiciary to do justice to the matter. There must have been precedent on this matter, so it will not be difficult for the court to determine the pendulum where it will fall.
All right, there are some expectations that the National Working Committee meeting would at some point resolve the feud between these two, this duo, the Sam Anyanwu and Udokoye. But then it appears the reverse is the case at this point. What do you think?
No, there was no such resolution between Sam Anyanwu and Udokoye.
Well, there are expectations by the members.
Expectation is what it is, but there was no concrete resolution because that's so. So now it is a fight for the soul of the party, the PDP, at the national level, because who controls the party's levers of power, who controls the structure, of the party, can go to an extent, determine who gets what and all of that. So it's a battle to finish. It's a fight to finish. They're actually fighting on who controls, the party, because Sam Anyanwu is not for Peter Mba and the rest of them. Governor Bala Mohammed, and he's for Nyesom Wiki's camp. So that is why you see that resolution was not possible, because at the higher level, that is the Wiki and the rest of them, they have not resolved. It's only when they come to say, okay, we are ready to shift ground, compromise and resolve. The warring faction, those gladiators, was to come immediately. Maybe in future, yes, but as at that time, I wasn't seeing that resolution.
All right, so this crisis has, paints a very bad image of PDP, and one is wondering how long do you...
Election, except Atiku shared his presidential ambition. I will tell you why. The party zoned some of these offices based on regions or based on region. It has always been north and south. The north has finished their tenure. It is the turn of the south to do. Atiku, who is a perpetual serial election contender, came out because he has the muscle, he has the finance. He knows one or two. He muscled his way and won the ticket against the southern people. We all saw the outcome of that. It never worked because the southern governors all pulled out from that PDP, and they affected their chances of winning. So Atiku is still nursing the ambition to contest the presidential election in 2027, despite his age as at that time. So with his continued interest to become the president, as against the party's zoning arrangement, you don't see this fight ending, because on the other side of the divide, there are eminent and strong personalities that have what it takes, to fight him. So if he doesn't back down on his presidential ambition, then I don't see the PDP resolving up to 2027 election.
Okay, with all the feud around the PDP crisis, is there any advice you'd like to give the PDP to see a possible way of resolving all of this?
Well, one of the advice I can give to them is for those who have the ears of Atiku Abubakar to prevail on him to step aside and allow much younger have to step down and bury his presidential ambition for a much younger person, probably from the south. Then that is one step forward for resolution. those who are behind the crisis will say, okay, if this man has stepped forward, it should be a clearly worded statement to say that I have resigned my position to contest as the next president of Nigeria, so that that document will be binding and can be used against him if he turns around and all of that. So if that happens, I am quite certain that there will be peace and progress for the party. The likes of Wike will come out, others will come out, they will put their way together, and hopefully the party can salvage something. But with Atiku still remaining there and how do I put it? There's no remorse at all. Like what I'm doing goes against the party's, internal laws or resolution or discussion. Then that is where you see people who have what it takes to challenge his authority, and in the course of challenging that authority, the party will continue to disintegrate. All right, then let's take a look at our last story for today. Founder of Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Abuad, Are Afe Babalola, has called on government at all levels to focus on recognizing patriotic citizens who have made significant contributions to national development rather than awarding politicians and public office holders. Babalola gave the charge on Tuesday in Ado while receiving an award as the Ekiti Summit Person of the Year 2020 rather than merit. According to him, a continuous celebration of mediocrity in place of merit would always dampen the morale of those with good and genuine intentions for the country and its progressive and developmental emancipation. The elder statesman emphasized the importance of encouraging others through recognition and celebrating those who excel in their respective fields. The legal icon commended the Ekiti Summit magazine for the award, especially its publisher, Femi Alufa, describing him as a patriotic citizen committed to the state's development. I was not expecting this. It's a big surprise. I've known Alufa for quite a while, and he shows tremendous interest in whatever he does. He is a patriotic citizen. He wants Ekiti to progress, and he always thrives for the development of Ekiti. I will take this opportunity to advise you to appreciate what others are doing. When you say well done to people, it's encouraging to them. I will use this opportunity to appeal to the state and federal government to appreciate those who are good in the country. Don't give awards to politicians and members of the assembly. Look for best market women, best farmer, best producer of cocoa. That's the way to encourage people to do more. Do you agree with Afe Babalola's advice to the federal government to stop honoring politicians with awards? Rather, he should look for farmers, look for people who have contributed positively to the nation to give awards. Well, I understand the sentiment of Afe Babalola. I understand his sentiments. It is believed that politicians have damaged this country, so they don't deserve any award. Okay. Instead, the ordinary people who are working so hard to ensuring that the country remains afloat should be recognized. I quite understand his position, but I want to take a departure that politicians should not be awarded. No, I do not share that sentiment. The reason being that politicians are equally human like us. And the business politics is not just an outcome. It's not something you come and you don't do something. You're elected for a period. You are appointed for a period to serve, and you're supposed to bring your professional expertise to bear, which will affect the life of the people overall. Now, the politicians, those who have gotten it right or are working to get it right, are working as hard as those farmers, working as hard as those producers who Babalola wants to, wants them to be honored. Okay. You understand? So it's not as if the politicians are just sleeping, wake up. Yeah, there are some who are docile, not doing anything in their ministries or in their area. They are not doing anything. But there are those who are working, and in the course of that working, they are putting a lot of energy, they are putting a lot of brain, mental capacity to ensure that things are work. So therefore, I don't share the same sentiment that politicians should not be awarded. While I agree that the commoners, the ordinary people, producers, farmers, and all whatnot, who are the ones toiling on a daily basis to ensure that Nigeria remains afloat, should be honored for their sacrifices, for their hard work. I agree completely. You know, for me, the reward for hard work is more work. That's how I say the reward for hard work. When you do a very good job, you understand, the reward for you is more work. So the only way to motivate them further is to call them, honor them. There are lifetime achievement awards. Okay. You know, the government can award them. Even individuals or organizations can decide to put up this award to encourage those who are working so hard for this country, you know, to remain afloat. With that award, it will enable them to, you know, work further. I agree, but do not exclude the politicians simply because they are politicians. I don't even understand what people, you know, the Nigerian people are taking politicians to be. I don't know how they look at them. Are they looking at politicians as not humans or something? Sometimes the actions they carry out, the decisions they make for the state may appear anti-people. So sometimes you may want to wonder if this person actually feels pains or something. No doubt, but there are a lot of them who are working assiduously, who are working so hard to ensuring that things are working hard. When there's no government, the society itself will turn chaotic. It will be a state of nature where whoever that is stronger than the other will go there, oppress the person, take whatever he or she has, and move on. So we must also give accolade to the exceptional politicians, very few of them, who in their respective businesses, in their respective offices, have been able to, you know, bring about life-changing policies and for those ministers with their team to achieve that. So they equally deserve the award.
Well, so many netizens, social media users, you know, have criticized Afe Babalola as regards to this. You know, we now start hearing stories where the issues he had with Dele Farotimi, you know, getting him in prison, where Nigerians are saying, you know, their minds. But then here is Afe Babalola saying that Nigerians, the presidency should commend those who speak for the betterment of the country. They should recognize this individual. But then they were still talking about him, his, you know, his issues with Dele Farotimi. Let me get your thoughts on that.
Let me just put this way. What if it's just a conspiracy theory? What if Afe Babalola came to see what he said, so that the people who he has been receiving bashing from, they want to see him that he's not on the side of the government and the politicians, because the accusation leveled against him by Dele Farotimi has to do with bribery as a judge, as a senior lawyer, and corruption. You know, as a lawyer to judge and things like that, to get judgment for politicians. That is the allegation leveled against him. So don't you think that this is a kind of damage control, you know, put in place to save his face? This is just, how would somebody come to say politicians should not be awarded? What for? What for? Are they not doing work? The issue, the development is still happening. Are they being done by the farmers that he wants to be recognized? It's still decision taken by politicians. Or do you expect the politicians to come and start carrying block on their head? That's when you know they are working hard. Politics itself is difficult. When you get the power to remain afloat, it's difficult. When you are there to take some decisions that will affect the people positively, it's not an easy thing. So whenever you see someone do something good for the benefit of the people, even though he's holding their money in trust, I think that person deserves a pat on the back to say, well done, sir, you've done well. Well done, ma, you've done well. So that is where the award comes in. He should not completely dismiss the award because he feels that politicians are not doing anything. Those farmers, those producers are the ones that are deserving of the award. The damage control being put in place to launder his battered image.
All right, thank you so much, George Azundachinda. You know, when I came back from the break, I introduced you as